This is not his first business, Primebrands marketing agency. He had a bottled water business when he was 20 years old. He'll be taking us through what he's currently
I had a very nice juicy part for you in the beginning there, but it looks like it's passed. Anyway, hello everybody. Mari has kindly introduced me to GSEA 2016. I'm glad to be here to present to you Primebrands Marketing Agency. So, Primebrands Marketing Agency is a media and entertainment studio which develops specialized advertising applications to support interactions between grassroots influencers and mainstream advertisers. So basically, we're committed to making advertising time and advertising spaces in every opportunity that we can get. So this is, as Murray mentioned, is not necessarily my first entrepreneurial competition. Over the years, I've taken part in quite a few entrepreneurial competitions, but I just wanted to sort of take a second to talk a bit about myself. I would describe myself, as my LinkedIn profile would say, as an author, entrepreneur, and marketing consultant. Basically, from 8 a.m. to about 12, I'm a marketing consultant. Study hours, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday. I recently picked up Tai Chi to improve mental balance, to try and not be nervous when I present to you guys, such things. Right? I'm also a writer. There's a book that I'm writing called Truth. Now, Truth is a book that I'm writing for entrepreneurs like myself, who are going to be trying to basically start businesses from scratch. On the weekend, I'm a golfer, and as you will see, just before I started my presentation, a friend of mine texted me, and he wanted to have a game of golf, and I told him I'll try. There's an app for everything these days, so I can basically play golf with him as I go. So if you hear me taking some shots, please bear with me. My portfolio. So I've worked on 2 major projects that I've started myself. Forever Young Generation is the first project that I started. This was back in 2013. It was a student discount program. If you're familiar with Ikes, it was something similar to that. I had about 30 partner locations, about 700 student members that joined it. But basically, I had a lot of complications on the way. I was overshadowed by competition, i.e. Ikes was better than me. I pitched an idea to, maybe some of you are familiar with Paul Cartmore, the founder of New Media Labs. He mentored me a bit by mentorship, I mean he gave me about a 30-minute conversation, and he advised me to try and make my idea more simple, because he basically thought my idea was a bit too big. But I learned my lesson, and I really do thank him for the lesson that he gave me. My second project, which I did start for myself, was a 2014 project called Mosiatunya, which was an urban clothing line. So I've given the judges some of the product samples. These are some of the clothes I actually designed as part of the collection that I did for Mosiatunya. Demand outweighed supply, so I couldn't produce, although many people showed interest in buying the clothes. Poor e-commerce infrastructure in Africa. In other words, if someone orders something, it's very difficult to get it delivered. So I basically shelved the project again. Then I went forward. So overall, the lessons that I learned in being involved in other companies, I've worked with many brands on a consulting basis, like Thai Cafe, Sticky Fingers, Shares Timber International. I learned a lot of things. That as an entrepreneur, as a young entrepreneur trying to make it, things like startup capital is an obvious problem. Distribution headaches, obvious problem. Limited human resources, another problem. Complex ordering, production line, limited research and development, and no mentor support. So I basically had to re-strategize and come up with something different. So I'm very excited about this concept that I've come up with now, having learned all these lessons over the years. So, one night out, I was with a friend of mine called Matt. He hails from Stellenbosch. And a night out, we'd gone out drinking, just as we actually had a couple of beers before this, and I was thinking of this moment. After a night out, we went to McDonald's. And then when I was at McDonald's, I realized, the ordering machine at McDonald's, I realized that, you can order without actually seeing the person you need to order from. Then I realized if I incorporated this concept with a vending machine, I'll be able to create basically a vending machine that can stock products that are not necessarily inside, but can stock a whole lot more. So the remote ordering system integrated into a vending machine would have been a good innovation. Plus, adding the traditional advertising screen would open up an ad space for us to sell ads. So basically, the concept is to enable machines not just to sell products in stock, but presents an opportunity for an ordering function as well. I realized that we could sell or advertise anything by upgrading vending machines to what I like to call a 2.0 status. So here we go. I'm going to go into a lot more detail about brand terminus. Brand terminus. So basically, I did a market analysis, and I looked at vending machines all over the world. And I'm proud to present a few facts here about vending machines, but most especially facts about my competition. So there is a company called DigiTouch, which is based in the US, which actually has a similar concept, but mine is obviously better.
DigiTouch. It looks like a vending machine. It acts like a marketing engine. Give your brand the full screen experience with sound and 3D animation. Really show off its personality. Hands-on interaction adds to the engagement. And a thank you keeps them smiling. Use DigiTouch to introduce products and features to new customers and brand your message at every opportunity. We're sending DigiTouch to high-traffic locations like hospitals, universities, and mass transit. It's an exciting new advertising platform and a unique and effective way to talk to your audience at the point of purchase. Advertise your brand on the only marketing platform that offers branding, interaction, and consumption in one. DigiTouch.
So that was my quick market analysis, and that's a golf ball there, as you can hear. Advantages of brand terminus. Well, basically in South Africa right now, the vending machines that we do have, in my mind, can be described as unlovable metallic boxes with old school wiring waiting to jam your piggyback coins. That's how I would describe vending machines. But what my innovation has is it's able to make vending machines into something more than that, as I will explain. It's not a surprise that vending machines have attracted little interest from investors locally. The future of retail in South Africa can and will be shaped by pioneers in the modernization of vending machines. The previous slide I actually missed out, if you took notes, was a slide that was talking about Japan, which has been very successful and almost sells anything. In Japan, you can buy meat, you can buy clothes, you can buy food, cabbages, anything from vending machines. So I think it's definitely a model that we can work on here in South Africa. Basically, I have two features. The retail screen. So the retail screen is the screen that you can actually order stuff from, like at McDonald's with that machine. It will reduce cost of doing businesses for small brands. Direct orders will play a greater part in determining production, and to allow small brands and their products to be seen in many places at the same time. Then the second screen is the ad screen, so which allows us to sell ads. We'll provide penetrative advertising for big brands. When the retail screen is inactive, advertisements will broadcast in the same way as a desktop screensaver. So we're looking at very, very effective ways of using that vending machine space. So basically, as a whole, the vending machine 2.0 upgrade, like I mentioned, is it will be characterized by a Samsung Slim Direct Lit LED touchscreen, which is basically very state-of-the-art technology that has been built by Samsung. Electronic payment technology, which is important because vending machines have a reputation for getting coins stuck in them. But my vending machine technology will basically will be a cashless system, a bit like Uber. Geolocation technology, integrity checking, you'll be able to see how your stuff is flowing as a member of my system. So if you give me a vending machine and I give you this upgrade, you have all this technology on your side. Now, basically I've sunk my ball, and that's the end of my golf game with my mate. But just to finish everything off, I just want to explain what I am about, insofar as my business is concerned. So I have a vision. I believe that any business I'm ever going to make in my life should follow a specific vision. And this vision is called Prime Vision. I have three objectives: to provide a cheap and affordable marketing service for startup companies on the continent. That's the vision of Primebrands. To participate actively in the founding vision of the Pan-African Renaissance of industry and multinational exchange. That's my second vision. But last but not least, to commit to active partnership and broad-based continental upliftment and transformation to redefine Africa's brand worldwide. This is a concern for me as a marketer, and I believe that I have the ability, and I have the wit, I have the patience to learn, and the ability to go forward in bringing this vision to a reality. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Is the business an idea or already existing?
The vending machine idea.
Yeah.
My business, Primebrands, is existing, and obviously as a marketer, what you do sell primarily is your time. So I'm involved in youth marketing. Actually, funny enough, my latest client is actually a university, and although I'm not at liberty to actually say which university, it's one of, I'm tasked basically in trying to find out how we can neutralize tensions on campuses. And that's sort of one of the portfolios I'm looking at. So I sell my time basically. But I wanted to take this opportunity to highlight brand terminus and to put it on a platform where I believe it should be. I obviously don't have the funding to make brand terminus, but I think it's a very clear idea that you can see can easily be developed.
How did the clothes tie into the vending machine?
Thank you for asking. I skipped that. When I did the clothing label, I realized that distribution was a very big problem. And what caught my attention with the whole Japan example is that people actually sell clothes through vending machines. So I realized at that moment of being at McDonald's that when we do put an ad screen and a storefront on a vending machine, we can actually be able to sell these clothes. Even if those clothes are not necessarily going to be in the vending machine, people can actually view them, actually interact with the clothes, and order them for a delivery at their place of residence. So that's how the clothes tied into the vending machine. And those two portfolio projects, the Forever Young Generation Student Discount Program, plus the clothing thing, together helped me to come about the idea of brand terminus in an attempt to solve distribution problems.
I think when I look at it, it's a great idea. I'm like so much it. Just want to focus on it and also try to go 50, 50 idea or all this idea coming in one idea or kind of try something that we might not be together.
I think one of the greatest things about actually Murray talked about it earlier with us when we were outside, is that I think you always need to realize the lessons you learn along the way. It's not so much about waking up and being so sure about what you're doing, but if you start something and you're exhausted and realize I can't go further with this project, try something else, and then when you try that thing, if it works, go forward with it. I'm cherishing the lessons I've learned so far, which is why brand terminus exists in the way that it is, which is why I'm so vivacious about brand terminus, because I believe I've learned the necessary lessons that can take me to the next level, with one, having learned about lessons from Forever Young Generation, and two, having learned lessons from Dynamic Africa, and plus, just generally having learned lessons from problems that clients have had in the past. I've been able to escalate to a point of at least professionally understanding how marketing can be applied to the concept that I've come up with.
What are some of the existing challenges that you experience in this current business and how you solve them?
I think one of the, when you label yourself as a consultant, a lot of people try and think that experience should be on your side. But I also think that clever thinking can be on your side. So that's a very big problem. The fact that I'm young, I can't necessarily woke up. I like to think that I'm good at understanding the student market, and that's what usually people call on me for. So I've worked with a lot of restaurants, for example, in Rondebosch. So Thai Cafe, Sticky Fingers, Food in India, and their basic problem is, how do I get more students to come through the door? But again, to get to that point, I know that I've had to work through thick and thin to get people to actually listen to me when I'm speaking to them. So I think it's a very big problem. And another thing as well is, I'm actually not a studying marketer. I come from a social science background. So what I use when I try and solve problems is more of an understanding of the human experience as opposed to understanding things from a marketing or beacon kind of background. So I think that has been a very big problem, being young and yet having the wit to try and at least call yourself a marketing consultant. I think that's been a very big challenge. But obviously through references, it becomes easier and more manageable.
On your revenue, who's paying you money? Consult.
It's mainly consulting, yes.
Mainly
It's
consulting.
mainly consulting, yeah. So
On
for
an hourly basis.
pardon?
On an hourly or project basis.
For project basis. I think one of the more interesting things that have happened in recent times is pigeon marketing. Pigeon marketing, yes, based in Black River Park. They have sort of attached me on a contract-to-contract basis. So when they need someone who needs specialist understanding of the student market, they attach me to those projects. So yeah, that's basically how. And at times, I can also work on a semi-permanent basis. So say, for instance, a new company has opened up, and then I give them my references and I pitch to them what we could possibly do or use as a marketing plan. I'll then be attached to that company as I was with GSEA International, big in Switzerland last year. They attach me for a certain period of time until they've seen the return of the marketing plan that I would have pitched for them.